Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Professor.
Hi, sweetheart. I wanted to ask you something now that you're alone.
Yes.
Let me see. Mandy, did you were able? Yeah, I got your midterm. It's not you. I didn't get a Q, and I'm concerned. How is it going for you?
Okay. I haven't really started my lesson plan yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will talk about it today, and then you all will have time to do that. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mandy, you did very well with your exam. I want you to know that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay.
And since you're alone, I can give you your grade. Got a 90. So
Oh,
beautifully.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm glad nobody is around because I wouldn't have said this so because of confidentiality, but it you deserve to know.
Okay.
I just want to wait
I,
to join us. I don't know if did I tell people they're off today or to do lesson plans or do you remember? I know the afternoon ones are going to do their exam for me. So let me just answer this.
oh, okay.
Hello, hello. I'm fine. I'm getting ready to start the class. How are you? Okay, mi amor, pero ten cuidado con eso, ok, Lina. Sí, pero, ok, tú tienes confianza en eso, ¿no? Sí. Ay, pobrecito, pero yo quería que supiera que tú que hiciste el trabajo para ella. Es bueno, gracias. Porque nunca sabemos. ¿Y sabes qué? Le Ella tomó 2 clases conmigo. Así es que te lo di ok. Ella no tenía otra clase, no solo los 2. ¿Con quién era el tercero? Porque tengo que checar eso. Porque yo solo enseñé 2 esta vez. Chequéame eso. Porque yo sé que eran 2 niños. I only taught classes. So check. Of course. I have already the class. Give me until 1:30 and I'll send it to you, okay? But check on that. I think it was only 2. Ask her if she had a third one that I promised with somebody else. I need to know. All right? Okay. Call me. I'll call you at 1:30. Bye. Okay. Hello. Hi, Jason. I like those pictures your brother puts up for us. Are you using his computer still? Jason?
No, this is my personal computer. That's me.
Okay. You're a musician, Jason?
Yeah, I make music.
Wow, that's nice. I'm waiting to see because I'm wondering if people were mistaken about today no class because I gave the exam and you also completed yours. There are a few that did not, so I'm not going to call names, but Victoria's there. Good. Okay, good. We're almost ready. I know we need to talk about lesson plans that are, for Thursday, so I'm going to work with you on that today to help everyone. Okay, and I also need to meet with a few that have not sent in their midterms. So as you just sign in from the semester, I'm going to be taking care of your attendance. Either you're Yvonne, right? Yvonne?
Yes, that's my legal name, yes.
Okay. So I'm not being present. Present. And then I have Mandy. Present. Okay. Okay, and then we have Jason. Alondra. Mandy, Victoria, Jason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What?
1,
12:30. It's 12:13. Go away.
2, 3.
Ah,
Do I go?
it's 12:13 right now. Not time for class yet. Go away.
Yvonne, I sent you an email. Did you get it?
I replied to you right away.
You did, honey, because I couldn't open your stuff, and so I did.
I changed it into a PDF, and you shouldn't have an issue. I sent it last night. I received it around 10 o'clock, I believe.
Yes. And I can. Okay, sweetheart. Thank you. I will check on that today. I was correcting till late, and then kind of turned off the computer after that, but I will look at it today. So you're fine, honey. Not a problem. Okay, so let's begin in all due respect to you all who have joined me, and as people come in, I'll be able to see their names. Do you have any questions for me so far? I've been trying to make it under a very considerate of the fact that you have a lot of stuff to do, and I rely a lot on you actually listening to my lectures and following all the practical stuff I give you. So I don't know that any of these you overwhelmed, but I do know that you had a head start on your exams and everything should have come in. So those who didn't send me their exams, and I see Sarah is present also, which is good. I will have to do personally. But right now, let's talk about your lesson plan. And then I do have some work I am going to be sending to you for Thursday. But before I send it to you, not for Thursday, you have to work on your lesson plan. But after that, you have in 2 weeks, starting the 15th, you have your spring break. So literally after Thursday that you present the plan, I have you for Tuesday and Thursday of next week. And I do want to go over a few things that are still pending with the chapters. So if you please have any confusion, you shouldn't have any. But if you do, I'm here to clarify. Never feel that you're asking too many times. My job is to make sure that you all understand everything, but also to understand the importance of your foundation class, that you are all keeping your notes, that you're preparing these notes in good, legible writing so that you can use them when you move into your area exams. Because I keep repeating, they will ask you about theory. You have a beautiful philosophy you wrote. I marked those who didn't send me their philosophies. And I'm very sad about that. So if you have not sent in your philosophy, you have to send that in. But those are things that will help you in terms of your area exam when you get to those, because that's that you have to pass your area exam to get your licensure. And those theories that I gave you and we talked about, you will need to brush up on. Because there will be a statement or they will ask you to talk about a particular theorist, or they will say, who said this? Which theorist said this? Was it Piaget, Erickson? And those are the major ones that I covered with you. So people tend to forget their foundations class as they move into the heavier stuff of methodology, getting ready for HA. And I cannot emphasize enough to all of you. This is your foundation class, which is so important for you. And I'm glad that I get to teach it. I was talking to Dr. Adeoju, your chair, last night. She's a dear friend of mine. Was it Sunday or yesterday? I can't remember. And I had a long talk about how excited I am that I'm teaching this foundations class to all of you, plus the literature, which is 225. Because a lot of the stuff, believe it or not, will come in your area exam. Things that I want to cover still in terms of why preschoolers and also the importance of the importance
No.
yeah,
I'm in class. Go away.
Students, the importance of thinking as they would think that development.
I'm in class. Go away.
As an adult professional teacher should know. And some psychology will come in there.
Can you go?
And how do I say and why do I say that? Because I remember writing some of those questions.
Go.
To remember, won't be dates to memorize, but you will be able to remember concepts. You will need to remember why you must attention span very short to make sure you let concept into all their senses. Beyond the fact that you need to actually take this course for the sake of the credit, you know, and our professors remind you of this, you'll be in good shape. But if they don't, keep your file for each course and intensely review before you take that area exam. So with that said, and I don't want to forget that, and I'll remind you all before you say goodbye to me after the 15th week. So let us talk about your lesson plan. Okay, be honest with me. Where are you with that lesson plan? Have you decided on your topic? On what subject, what area? I sent you a nice easy template. You all got that, right? Is there anyone who didn't get the lesson plan template? It's very simple. It's not the EDFN template. This is where you have your subject, your title of the course, your materials, your objectives, your standards. So all of you got it, right? I'm going to address it to, let's see. Mandy, did you get your lesson plan template?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I will assume that if no one else has responded that they didn't, I'll take it for granted that you have. So I do have Alondra present. I have Jerson. I have Victoria. I have Sarah. I have Mandy. I have Ariel. And I have Yvonne. Did I miss somebody? Okay.
You missed me. You missed me.
Hannah, how could I miss you?
Hi.
Say your name, Hannah. Hold on. Hannah, okay, Hannah, I put you down already.
I'm here too.
Who is the Yesenia?
I'm here as well.
Wait, hold on. Yesenia, yeah. All right, present. And who said I'm here as well?
Diana.
Diana, that's yeah. Okay, I need Diana, Yesenia, and okay, to make sure that, and Ariel. I don't know if it's because I couldn't open your exam, but please, if you haven't sent it to me, send it again. If you have sent it into D2L, just send me an email, but I could not find it. And I'm very, and this is not private yet. I'm just telling you, it could be my fault or your system. And so please, Diana, and Israel, and that, and who else? Let me see here, one more person. And yes, that I sent it today. And you
I
sent,
sent it again last night.
you did, hun?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me write a note there. Sent it last night. Okay, and there were some I couldn't open, and I was very happy that Ivan, you resent it also. Again, I'm not blaming any of you. I'm just saying it could be the system or the fact that they're doing a different program, and that happens. Okay, so it's not the fact that I'm reminding you is not going to be punitive. It's just to help us get this together. Any questions, students? Anything that you are concerned about? This is the time to tell me. You don't wait to the end.
I have a question, Professor.
Sure, Hannah.
The lesson plan, is that on a book?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go through today completely. So I'm glad
Okay,
you're
thank you.
That is the purpose for meeting today more than anything other than lectures. I will go through that thoroughly. So other than what Hannah just asked me, is there anyone, Ariel, everyone else? Okay.
I do have a question actually. So I was trying to do my lesson plan, but I saw that you said Illinois early learning standards. Where can I find those? I've never.
Okay. Good question. That's a good one, and I will address that right now too. Any other question besides lesson plan? Anything else? So everyone's good. Everyone's enjoying the course. I hope you're learning.
I have a question.
Sure, Jason, go ahead.
For the lesson plans, it has to be a book that's with the Cadillac Award, I think.
Okay, let me address all that about lesson plans now. We have 3 great questions. Hannah, Ariel, and Jason. But besides those lesson plan questions, any other questions about the course itself? Remember, Master wants to know that you all are here, enjoying the course, but learning at the same time. Right? And don't be embarrassed to say, Mister, no, I'm lost. No, it's we still have time to clarify everything. I don't want to hear that at the end or at an evaluation that you didn't learn. You know, there's no reason for that. I've been teaching 53 years, and that would be embarrassing for you and for me to know that we've gone through the entire foundations course and you're not getting much from it. That would make it sad for me. So please, let's be honest with me, and if you want to send me an individual email, I'll be happy to accept that. So with that said, let me go into the lesson plan. Question 1, Hannah asked me and Jerson the same. Is it a book? You can choose a book. It doesn't have to be a Caldecott Award book because they're beautiful children's books that did not win the award. Okay, so if you want to choose another book that you think is going to bring that lesson alive, come alive, that's fine. If you don't want to base your lesson plan on a children's book, then you are more than welcome to choose a subject area such as social studies, science, mathematics, whatever. So I'm leaving that open to you. This course, following the syllabus to a T, only that I changed a few things and based it on theory instead of the other topics you were pushing on us. But because that's good use in your area exam. So what you want to do is choose. To me, teaching a lesson plan from a book is a lot easier. But if you prefer another subject area, that's fine. Let me know address Ariel's question. The ISB, the Illinois Learning Standards, are tied into the Common Core. I hope you're right. Common. And I'll give you a little bit of background because you need to know that. These are, all you need to do is go into ISB, ISBE, Early Learning Standards. Write that down. You don't have to copy hundreds of pages. But once you go into ISB, Illinois State Board of Education is what ISB stands for. And that's where you're going to get your license. So ISB, Illinois, all you have to do is Illinois Early Learning Standards. Type that in. And then you put the age group that you want to do your lesson plan for. If it's 5-year-old, make sure you have over 8-year-old. And then you look for the subject area. And if it says literature or literacy or language arts or so, you find it and then you find the standard it gives you. Some will say understanding, some will say cognition, building cognition, understanding, listening, building vocabulary, whatever you can list, no more than 3, you list that. You give your numbers and you can see the statement. Those are the Illinois standards, Illinois Early Learning Standards, and you can't go wrong there, okay? If you have trouble finding it after this, you will need to email it, but which means Illinois State Board of Ed. And then you go into Illinois Early Learning Standards and you'll get it. It's in Spanish and in English and all that. Okay, you need to get used to that because all your lesson plans will be based on the early learning standards. Now, you'll find the Common Core and it's got married. And I'll tell you why Common Core came into being. It was always just standards. But they combined it and they have the Common Core and the state standards. The reason that core you'll be hearing on as well into your other studies, CC, Common Core Standards, is that in 2010, just before I retired 2012, and we piloted this in our schools in 2010, when all administrators were called to meetings, and there were the new information they gave us was, and you need to know this background, is that we all states have their own standards. It could make sense to you. All states have their own standards. So when your child transfers to Boston or to California or to Florida, the child would be at a loss no matter what grade level he went into. If it was third, he left here and went into third in Florida, the Florida standards were different than Illinois. If they went to Washington, in New York. So educators got together, the chief education officer led this, that was based in Washington, D.C. And they all came together and they decided that every state in the United States would adapt what we call the Common Core standards. It means that we're not dissolving the state standards, but we're going to condense them under general statement. They're not going to be as specific as every state standards are listed, but they will cover the same goals, the same standards, the same skills must be taught, but the commonality will be the statement will be the same across the nation. So the purpose was to make it a very uniform standard for all the United States, so that if any child transfers, that would be a time for the child, not a stumbling block. There is so many transition or families transition, whether they're immigrants or work related or whatever the purpose may be. Children are constantly moving from one state to the other. And this was the purpose in 2010 that Common Core standards were introduced. The only 2 states and this is part of history that you all need to know as your foundations in education, were Texas and Alaska. Texas and Alaska decided, and Texas has always been a reluctant follower of what we other states do in education, but they also always, and this is so funny because during Proposition 27, when they were fighting California and Texas for spending more education, Texas was the first to lead off and say, we will develop the right books and everyone will emulate what we have. That kind of stuff goes on in education, but that's not as important right now. So it's interesting to learn that while we were being trained as principals on Common Core in 2010, to pilot it in 2011, and went into full force in 2012, that these two states did not adapt it. And the reason was that the governors of those two states said no. No. It wasn't that they could freely decide no, and then they would get away with it. They were given a choice of another set of standards that would replicate, that was almost similar to the Common Core standards. So that's like a background information for you to know what Common Core is versus state standards. So as you look though, and what I would do with my teachers when we piloted this was I would present the Common Core and I would present the Illinois standards, and they would embed it. They would say, oh, yeah, this is the same thing.
I know you
It's
look at
more
what you
different.
found. Go to class, man. Go to
And so
class.
as they look at the general statement for Common Core, they were able to infuse the state standards and say, this is this is this, and this is more detailed for us. So it's not like we eradicated the standards, we just made it more general in statements. Does that give you a little bit of background? Ariel, does that cover your question?
Yes.
Ariel? Okay. So how do you go into finding your standards? Going to ISB, Illinois State Board of Ed, ISB, they used to go into that site that you will forever be going under ISB. You'll be getting your IEIN number when you are looking for a job. I usually help students from the other college. You have to pay $100 for that. Once you get your IEIN after you graduate, that's a number your principals will need when they will hire you. And, so ISB is a site you need to become familiar with, besides just the standards, because that's where your licensure will go. That's where your professional development will be entered in order to renew your certification. So please get used to that site. And I'm sorry that I took for granted that you all knew that, but you see how important this is? You need to know ISB, all the stuff you will find under ISB. And as you are doing your HTA and entering, and everything will go through there, and then you apply for licensure, and a nurse will help you with that. From then on, you're on your own to look for that site to upload your professional development sessions, okay? Usually when you're in a school setting and you've been hired, and I say that's giving you a lot of
But
information.
did you go to the 1:30 one?
Your principals will be.
She said
giving
you can't come in
professional
yet.
development, and there is a site in ISB
Now go away.
upload under your own professional development. And there are people there who can mentor you with that in the school setting, and they should. I mean, they have consultants in there or specialists that will help you. And so you will keep that up, because once your certificate is ready for renewal and you haven't shown so many professional development, you won't be able to renew. So that's a bridge you will cross when you become employee. But make sure that I told you, you're only a year and a half away from graduation. Keep this information in your writing, in your notes for the course and look for it. Any questions now? Let's see. I've covered Hannah. Did I cover your question, Hannah? Hannah?
Yeah. Yes.
Hannah.
Sorry, I couldn't see my mic on.
Yeah, did I cover your question?
No.
Okay. All right. Jerson, did I cover your question?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the requirements for your lesson plans, and I'll give you time to go work on that because you really, really need time to get it done. If you need Thursday an extension to get it done, we still must meet. See what I'm trying to tell you? If you're struggling because you've never done a lesson plan and you still are working on it, let's connect on Thursday, and then I will give you time to finish it up, and then the report won't have to be done or given to me until the 9th. Okay? So let's be fair. I will be fair with you. Let me cover. If you feel that you need Thursday to complete it, just give me a chance to see you on Thursday and check up on you, and then I'll send you off to finish up the lesson plan. So don't be afraid that you only have today and tomorrow to get it done. Okay? I don't want you to rush through it. You're fresh in doing lesson plan. You will do your lesson plan and you will give me your name, the semester, the name of your course, and spring 2021. And then you're going to choose your subject. Is your subject going to be literacy, reading, or language? Language arts covers all the literacy areas. And the title will be a storybook or a literature book or a children's book, and you will mention the name of the book. Or if you're going to do math, you're going to mention that topic on math, like addition, subtraction, whatever. If it's going to be sight words, you're going to put sight words. It's going to be on the language arts anyway. And then you're going to now name your standards. And that's what you're going to look at. I cannot tell you your standards because I have to, you go in, as soon as you see those standards, demonstrating listening skills. That's one of them. They will have to listen. Comprehension, understanding, vocabulary building. All those are going to be there. Choose those. Don't choose more than 3. You write down the numbers that come with them and the statement. And remember, teachers, standards are listed. From those standards, you know the skills you're going to be teaching, right? If it says in increasing listening skills or vocabulary or whatever, or sight words or comprehension. Now from there, those are the skills that you're going to be teaching. From there, you will develop your objective. I see Jerson's hand up. Yes, Jerson.
So I'm looking at the Illinois Early Learning Standards, and they have them listed here, like Learning Standard 3.8. Is that what we're supposed to list?
Which one is that one? There are many standards. Are you looking on the language arts? Are you looking
Language
on the
arts.
Yeah. What does that one say? Read it.
It says Learning Standard 3.8, recognize key ideas and details in nonfiction text.
That will be one if you're teaching nonfiction. If you're nonfiction, read some more. There are many there, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Hundreds of them. You need to choose because you're going to teach to those standards. Teachers don't have to pull stuff from the air. Your standards are your framework, just like if you're going to build a home. Okay? Understand that? So honestly, your standards are designed to give you a framework for teaching. That's what I want you to remember. People used to go and grab stuff from I found this beautiful thing on the internet. No, we have to teach the standards. Why, teachers? Because those standards are what the children are going to be tested on in their standardized test. Those standards are going to build a stepping stone for the next grade and the next grade and the next grade. So if you're building a house and you don't put the stairs, the first stair, the child will have to jump to the second one and miss that first one. So that first that he missed, he will never catch up with that. Does it make sense? That's why I always use that example. Your standards tell you what you must teach for each child in each grade level, the children in each grade level. And that's what we call developmentally appropriate practice, the DAP that you'll be hearing all the time. It's actually designed, let me just lower this, my switch here. I don't know who's bothering right now. I'm sorry about that. I should have turned it up. So let's enjoy this. Your standards are your blueprint. They tell you what skills you must teach to children. And they're sometimes general. But within those standards, there will be skill. How will you teach comprehension? How will you teach listening skills? Now it's left up to you. And then, because if you miss teaching the standards for kindergarten, or teaching to the standards, not teaching the standards, teaching to the standards for kinder, and they go to first, they have missed that first step. They're jumping here, and then that first grade teacher cannot make up in 8 months, or it's not even 8 months. We have literally 5 months of instruction in a school year, with all the interruptions, the holidays, all that. So how can we expect you, Ariel, to teach the stuff that Victoria or Tuning missed teaching in kindergarten? You have to go back and teach it. It's bad enough that they forget things over the holidays. They forget things over the summer vacation. You see, so we do a discredit to children from day one when we don't teach to the standards. They're right there for you. As a principal, I didn't want my teachers just to list those standards. I would have conversations with them and I would say, okay, so what are they telling us to teach them? How are you going to teach them? What are your objectives now? And your objectives must be stated as 3 different objectives. Children will, and children will they understand? Cognition. Will they be able to do? And will they be able to remember? So you always begin your 3 objectives or 2 objectives, whichever. I don't make them less than 2. I want to hear that they're understanding, that's reaching the cognitive domain. They will understand and they will be able to actually do, because that's the tactile part. When you list your objective, teachers, make sure that as you develop that plan and you execute that lesson, that it is leading to the teaching of those skills. If you mention those skills to me and you're over in Timbuktu all over the place, and what children are being asked to do or listening to you is not what is leading them to those objectives, then all you've done is written word paper. Resent doing lesson plans because they don't understand. And I want you to know, once you're in a classroom, you will have to develop these detailed lesson plans. You will be doing lesson plans with your teammates, your grade level people. Okay, I see your hand right now, Latoya. Give me a second. And the grade level, and they will fill them up into a whole week's lessons. But when the principal comes in, you better have your objectives for that day as you're teaching, because you will be the lesson plan. So let me listen to Latoya and I will continue. Yes, Latoya.
I was working on my lesson plan, and when I get to my objectives, and this at the point where I state what students like identify, like am I on the right track?
Yes, students will be. You begin every objective with students will do, students will understand, students will be able to, use the word. You begin all your objectives with students will. Okay? Okay. Only listen, students will be able to demonstrate understanding. Students will be able to create, put the puzzles together. They'll be able to come from 1 to 3. They will understand the concepts of so and so, understand. You always say students will. Does that answer your question, Latoya?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so for your lesson, enjoy it and say, I am the architect of this lesson plan. Materials I will mention in this to my classmates as I present to show showing their understanding. Remember, if you put it in your objective, we're hoping that as you're teaching them, and you give them their activity to do, that it will enhance, and then it will lead right up there to the blueprint that you just created for your lesson plan. What is your form of assessment? Is it that they're going to perform something? Are they going to recite something? Are they going to understand the rhyming words? And are they going to be able, how are you going to prove that they learn? That's your assessment part. My assessment will be blah, blah, blah. Why are you going to assess teachers? To confirm you that they learned what you set up to teach them. See, everything is connected. The basement of the house is connected to what? To the first floor, because it's holding up the walls. And they are all interrelated, like so. But that blueprint showed you that. An architect sent, you paid thousands of dollars for an architect to develop where the bathroom will be, where the windows will be, etc. You are the architect of your lesson plan. What no principal can tell you, teachers, if it's one thing you'll remember from this, no teacher can tell you that a strategy you chose to teach a lesson is wrong. A strategy you chose to teach a lesson cannot be wrong if you know that it will lead you to sorry, I should have no control over the house phone. I apologize. So you understand? A strategy teaches skill. Strategies will teach the skill. Okay, so you're going to teach them rhyme words. What strategies are you going to use to teach those rhyme words? Because in your objective, you said students will understand words that rhyme. Students will be able to write rhyming words. Students will be able to detect rhyming words, you see? But how are you going to do it? That's where your strategies come in. And if I see that you're using these strategies, I will say, okay, yeah, if I was a child in that classroom. And so strategies teach the skill. Skills come under the standards. Objectives tell me what my children will learn when I am done executing a lesson. Does this make sense to you now? Yes or no? Somebody answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does, right? You should be excited when I say you're the architect of your lesson plan. No principal can say your strategy is wrong, as long as your strategy. If I have to put one foot in a bucket of water and one outside to prove to my students, to show my students that something that they're learning a skill, no one can ever tell me no, as long as when I'm done using that strategy, I show from the assessment that my children learned it. What kind of assessment do we give our children, especially those who have not yet learned to write? Matching, sticking, crisscrossing, whatever. Remember, they can put an X, or they can stick something that you gave them to stick on top of this umbrella. What begins with you, or they can draw whatever assessment you can do that maybe does not yet require them to write, because not all of them are at that level of writing. It's 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds. However, I need to see that you will have a form of assessment. We usually give them performance assessment. They will stand and clap, and every time they hear a rhyme word, they will clap once, or whatever you're teaching them. Or they will.
Professor, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
For the lesson plan, does it have to be a children's book, or can it be?
I just said that at the beginning. I don't know if you weren't present. I clarified that. Let me just finish what I'm saying, and I'll get back to that. Okay. So please allow me to finish, because I did clarify that. So what was I saying? Okay. So the hungry caterpillar. The hungry caterpillar, you read the book. Your performance assessment will be what? That as the story is narrated, there will be a caterpillar, how the child will have maybe an apron or a cutout of a caterpillar stuck there, and then all the fruits that the caterpillar ate, the child will step out and say, and the caterpillar nibbled on my apple. That is sequence. teaching sequence, one of your standards in kindergarten and first grade is teaching sequence. So how do you teach sequence? What is your assessment? They will be able to act it out as the narrator. You could be the narrator. That means it shows comprehension of the story, it building vocabulary, and they're listening and the skills that you're teaching now. The listening, the sequential order of stuff, and then they're understanding what the steps, the processes that a caterpillar goes through before it becomes a butterfly. So enjoy. Now let me answer Eve's question. Would somebody please tell me that it is making sense to you before I answer Eve? Yes. Latoya, your hand is still up, so I don't think. Okay, Mandy, Sarah, Yesenia,
Yeah,
let me hear from
it's making
somebody.
sense.
Does it? Okay, so Evie, I don't know if you joined me later, but I did say you can choose a book, you can choose a subject like science, mathematics, or whatever. So Evie, do you need
No,
more
I just sent
clarification?
mine in already, and it's a science experiment, so that's where I was concerned.
So tell me a little bit about your science experiment so everyone
It's
can
about
learn.
mixing primary colors to get secondary colors for preschoolers. Here, let me open this.
That's exciting. And what age group?
Yeah, 4-year-olds, some 5 pre-kindergarten, so 4 or 5-year-olds.
Okay, don't tell us because you'll be frustrated. But I just want to know, it was colors, mixing colors, and so you put it under science. It's amazing. But you also know that in that science, Evie, glad you asked because you already did it. Maybe you missed when I started the class saying you can choose any subject area, and I'm glad you decided on science. You were teaching vocabulary development there. You're teaching color concepts, right? You're teaching the children, and then you have a great activity for them to use their tactile because they will be doing. So I will be looking for that in your lesson. That's exciting. I remember teaching that when I had just started to teach the mixture, the color combinations, the primary colors. Any other, Edie, did I
Thank you
answer
so
your
much.
question? You're so welcome. Okay, who else would like to ask me questions? Because I want you to get started on your lesson plan. And Thursday, you may not be done. So Evie got hers done already, but I will connect with you and for clarification. And then let's decide, teachers, that the 90 will be your presentation to give you good time and enough time know that I've clarified standards. I want you to go back and review even if you've done it. Make sure that your goals, your standards, your objectives, your topics, your materials are mentioned, that you have developed it and you will tell us how you will teach it, that you have actually given us the instruction that you will do, whether it's performance or cooking something or creating or drawing, whatever. And then of course the conclusion. And always teachers, your conclusion must be recapping what you just finished teaching. Okay, so very quickly, what colors did we mix for this color to be made? And that's like a conclusion. Always bring a lesson to a conclusion. Okay, Evie, I think you heard me just say that you want to make sure, and I'm sure you included that. I haven't read it yet, but include how you will conclude your lesson. And I want to make sure, teachers, that you know that even though you bring a particular lesson conclusion today, it doesn't mean that it won't continue tomorrow. But every session must be brought to conclusion. I usually ask my teachers to give a recap for checking for understanding. And if not, a conclusion could be tomorrow. I want you to remember that this lesson will continue. So what did we learn today? And you're not just doing it to remind them for tomorrow. When they go home today, their parents will say, what did you learn today? And that conclusion you brought them to is something that they could talk about. And I know as a parent or eventually if you become a parent, doesn't it make you happy to know that your children could verbalize what they did in school instead of saying, I didn't do anything. We just draw. We just were drawing all day or we were playing tablet all day. You see? So I want first of all to know that every single one of my foundation students will understand one thing. This is a simple form of lesson plan template I gave you. Starting into the next semester, as you move into your other courses, you will be introduced to the EdCA template. And it's 7 pages long because you have to articulate every single step. But don't be scared because the teachers are there to train you, to walk you through the template, to show you where to find the EdCA template lesson plan. But at least you will arrive there with knowledge that what a lesson plan is all about and a purpose for a lesson plan. And that's where you get here in this foundations class. Okay? Any question? I need to see if somebody else joined us. Latoya, you're with me. I got my present.
Mandy, do I go to class?
You said one something. Ah, one what?
PM.
Vicky,
It's not
yes,
1
I got
p.m.
you.
yet.
I got you.
Okay.
You have a question.
But,
Go ahead.
Is this one of the objectives? I don't know if I'm confusing it because I was looking at the website as well. Is this could be like identify verbal, physical, and situational cues that indicate how others may feel?
That's a standard.
Yeah, is that one of them?
That's a standard. Now, how would you write an objective from that?
Oh, okay.
Students will be able to what? Give me the standard so I can come up with an objective.
Well, that's one of the standards I think I'm gonna use because
Read it to me, Vicky.
identify verbal, physical, and situational cues that indicate how others may feel.
Students will be able to express how others feel. You don't even have to say after this, they will be able, the verbal means they will be able to express themselves, right? Right?
Yes,
Because it said verbal. What was the other cue?
physical and situation.
It's all just expressed though.
Yeah, that's what it is. Identify.
Students will identify different situations of blah, 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 because you will put in the emotional and all that stuff. So lead off from your standard to develop your objectives. The only thing I want to make sure that your objectives include what the standard is saying, but that the students will be able to create a triangle or draw a triangle. Let's say it's a math because you're teaching shapes. Students will understand the difference between a circle and a square because in math, they're giving you those standards to teach shapes. See, so always lead, a very good question, Vicky. Lead off from your standard to create your objective. Your objective, your standard is like you're taking your family to New York. Your objectives will be what? To arrive at New York, but still be able to what? Sightsee, stop at different rest places. How many will be able to learn about the museums along the way? Everything. Those are the things that your objectives are on the way to New York. You're planning your trip to New York. Is your objective? Is your standard? What are the objectives that before you get there, you will be able to what? Learn them. Have the mileage down to a science. When you arrive in New York, you already have mapped out all street. My family and I will be able to explore the different places. That's your objective. It's always stemming from where? From the standards. Standards will tell you what the skills are that you must teach. In this case, the skill was what, Vicky? Let's help everybody. What was the skill that you were teaching in this standard you just mentioned? What is it you want to teach your children? Victoria?
I'm sorry.
What do you want children to learn from there?
From the same standards are you talking about?
Yeah, that's why you have the standard. What is it you want them to learn from that standard? What is that standard telling you you need to teach
How
your
to
children?
take up verbal, physical, and situational cues.
They will learn cues. What are cues? They will be able to determine, they will be able to what? To recognize. Cues are recognition stuff, right? They'll be able to recognize what?
How to understand the cues within the situation, within the book. Like, I'm not sure exactly how you
Well,
change it.
okay. The book is what?
I'm
The book is
thinking
what? What's
the Giving Tree.
Okay, the giving tree. Your standards for the giving tree is what? They will understand. And you said emotional?
No, I said
Yes?
verbal, physical, and situational.
Okay, so how will they understand the verbal and the physical part? The conversation that the tree and the boy
Yeah,
had? You know, when you,
because they're to understand the verbal is what the tree is saying, what the boy is saying, and then the physical is the action of the boy and how the tree reacts every time the boy leaves, and then the situational would be like how how deep it is between like them when he finally like the story like just takes and the tree just gets it.
go, there you go. So you're teaching that to children, and children will also understand that you should give and take and not just want to receive, and that it's a very good life skill that you're going to teach, right? So your objective could also say that students will develop life skills and understand life skills in terms of we give and we take, not just give and not just take and take. That's a very good lesson. Yes, Jason, you want to offer some information?
It wasn't really offering information, but it was a question I had for that.
Okay. Let me just finish with Vicky. Vicky, you got that, right?
Yeah, I got that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, now, Jason,
So
what
I
is your
was
question?
looking at the early learning standards, and I think I found one that I want to do, but it's not going to require a book.
Say. It's okay. Okay, you know that everything you ask, you're all of you. When you ask, you're helping each other, and because you give me an opportunity to explain. So never hesitate. All right. What is it that
It
your
says
standard
learning
is saying?
standards 25.8, investigate, begin to appreciate and participate in the arts.
So
Yeah.
it's under arts that you went into? Okay, yes, understand arts. No, that's a general common core standard statement, standard right there. All right, what are you going to use to show and demonstrate? What are your objectives and what are you going to use to arrive at that standard to know? The arts is very broad. What is the title under that arts that you're going to work with? Is it music? Is it drawing? Is it what part of what area discipline under art? Art is the overall subject.
I want to say, well, it's mostly music, but I also want to.
Visual arts. So what specific, because you're teaching young children, what is your visual arts that you're going to teach to? What is that? Are you going to use an instrument? Are you going to use create music through water and what is it that you do?
Well, I was gonna for this lesson plan, it would involve like a guitar, and then it involves the children to make their own guitars as well using like a tissue box and a roll of paper, and they get to like create it and paint it as however they like. That would be the visual arts part.
Students will be able to what? To create their own guitar. Yes. Students will understand how the strings in the guitar create sounds. They're hearing, they're doing, they're visualizing, they're understanding all your senses. So yeah, visual arts is general. You have to put that down, but that's your goal. But under visual arts, your title of that lesson, which you don't have to have a book, will be instruments and then dash guitar. Yeah. And then you will introduce, and then you will say they will understand, they will be able to explain the what a guitar looks like. Will you bring that in? How many strings you have in a guitar? Yes. All that stuff, so they will understand the physical aspects of a guitar. They will understand that each string resonates a different tune, a sound. So they will understand, they will visualize, they will see it, they will do it. What will they do? They will create, they will make their own guitar.
Yeah.
You've got your objectives right there. It's your material, so you don't really need a book.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that was like the plan, I guess. Yeah, that was my plan for like the lesson plan, like have the children make their own guitars, how they all present it, and like probably like.
Do you see, Jerson, how you had the general standard, then you had to what? Bring it down to what under that standard are you teaching? Because you're teaching arts, but the arts can include enjoying, identifying this Picasso or whatever. The art part is the music, which is your topic. Your title is the guitar.
I got it. Thank you.
Got it? Okay. All right. No, anytime you ask a question, please allow me to elaborate for everyone's purpose.
So
Yes,
for,
Latoya.
do we have to include like the concept?
That's how the concept is what you're going to describe. When you're teaching us that lesson, pretend we're your students, you will tell us, you will teach us concept. Concept is understanding. How are you going to give us that concept of what you're this guitar there? He's going to show the strings, so they will be able to describe how a guitar looks, what the strings are made out of. They could be cowhide or whatever. The wooden part, is it all wood or plastic? And that each string is a note. Those are the concepts that he's teaching, but the concepts are the concepts of a guitar. Latoya, the understanding. Concept goes, they will understand that will go into their cognitive domain. If you have no concept of what Tuni Mester is talking about when I say hyperbole, you will not, it means you don't understand. But when I teach you on hyperbole, you've gotten the concept and it's reached your cognitive domain.
So that's when I would put like students will understand like how to do this, how to do that.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Every time you say understand, it is they are getting the concept and it's going into their cognitive domain. Yes. Any other question? I love these questions. And I wanted this session to be a clarification for you to enjoy doing your lesson plans. Again, you don't have to finish it Thursday. I'm extending it to you for the 9th. Now, do you want to meet on Thursday or do you prefer? And I'm not giving choices to people that are not here, but I think everybody's here. Yeah. So do you want to meet on Thursday? Or do you have this clarified, or just touch bases with me on
Professor,
Thursday?
what time is our lesson plan due on Thursday?
It's not due on Thursday. We're going to meet again to clarify.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I'm sorry.
No, I'm extending it to the 9th, but I want to because today you got more clarification. Everybody, I don't want to rush you for tomorrow to have it for Thursday. I want you to have tomorrow. I want you to tell me if you need me to be here with you on Thursday. I have nothing to do. I mean, you are my job. You're my job. I have to be here and I want to be here with you. Do you need to sit with me for further feedback into your lesson plan, or are you ready to move on and work on Thursday and have it ready for me by the 9th for you to present? We will present in class on Tuesday the 9th. Give me your opinion. Who wants to meet on Thursday face-to-face like this? Should I join just in case?
I feel like you should,
Yes, I will join. I will see you. And if I see that you all are happy and ready to keep on working, or you have any questions, then I'll be there. That's my job. And that's my pleasure. I not just see you as my job. I enjoy doing this. So let's sign off. Go on work, keep your notes, and look for those standards and keep going with it. Enjoy being the author of your lesson plan. Thanks, Jerson. See thumbs up. Any
I
questions,
have.
my dear teachers?
Do you want a specific amount of standards and objectives, or we just do as we?
No more than 3. You can find 3. They're all underneath. If it's vocabulary development, it will be developing vocabulary. If it's the colors, look at Evie telling us how she already did hers. There was vocabulary development. There was concept of colors. They were doing, mixing. You can have no more than 3. Okay. Remember, you're dealing with young children. All right. Okay, teachers, if you have no other questions for me, I'll let you go so you can have this fresh in your mind. Remember, it's not supposed to be done Thursday. I've extended it to Tuesday, but Thursday we meet to clarify, and then I'll give you a little bit of further information. I just want to know that you're going to enjoy doing this. This is your only lesson plan for this class.
It's good, Professor.
Okay? All right, dear. Have a wonderful rest
Thank
of
you,
the morning.
Professor.
Okay?
Bye.
All right.
Thank you,
Bye,
Professor.
students. Teachers, my pleasure.